am I the heroine in some story? That has to be the best aware protagonist ever. One thing that you have to admit, in all of the years that I'm sure you and I have watched Ash and Pikachu, is that Ash is a pretty one-track mind kid, right? He's like Pokemon battles, and that was like for the most part pretty much it. And he was pretty dense. Now, there was moments through the different seasons, like I think early on in like season, probably I think like Orange Islands, like season 4 or so. He did become a little bit more hyper aware. He was able to joke around with Misty, but like there was moments of brilliance, but for the most part, he's a pretty dense one-track mind character, and is such a breath of fresh air in Liko here, who seems to be a lot of different things that I covered on episode 1 that makes her so compelling. Is she's charming. She's unsure of herself. She doesn't really know what being a Pokemon, trainer means, right? Like, as opposed to like Ash, where he was like, I gotta go be the very best, I gotta go be champion. She doesn't quite know what her thing is yet, right? She's just kind of like finding it as she goes, as you would assume most people would. Most people in this world, right? You could think of it as being realistic, as if you were a kid, 10 years old, 11 years old in this world. You have to imagine a 10-year-old kid. They don't know they don't know left from right. They can barely tie their shoes sometimes. So it's like, okay, they don't know. All they know is, I want to get a Pokemon, and I want to learn more about this world. I want to learn about Pokemon. I want to battle. I want to have a partner. It's like she knows those things, but outside of that, she doesn't really know. And then you throw in everything that's happening to her in the mix, and of course, so she's charming, she's compelling, she's charming, she's a little confused, she's realistic, right? She's aware, right? With this episode showed that she's aware. She's like, why are all these things happening to me? Like, am I the freaking heroine? Like, what is going on? Like, she's confused. She doesn't quite go with the punches, but then she also has the moments of like when Sprigatito was yelling at her, in the cutest way possible. When Sprigatito was yelling at her, when she was like, "I just want this to be done. Take me away. I don't want to hurt anybody. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I know that I don't want people to get hurt because of me." Again, she shows a moment of maturity in that moment. But then Sprigatito brings her back, like, no, we need a battle. We need to go and beat these guys here. And, Sprigatito jumps into action there. And she realizes, like, okay, I need to snap out of it. Like, these are obviously the bad guys. I need to jump in and follow my Pokemon's lead. And she does, and she's like, Leafage. And, it's one of the things, as we've watched Pokemon throughout our whole lives, is we know that when, a trainer's passion and ferocity, when all of that's channeled, it like gives the Pokemon like a power up, right? It's that moment of partnership between trainer and Pokemon. And as she mustered up all of that to yell out Leafage, Sprigatito, lit that place up. Unfortunately, episode ends with Sprigatito falling off of the airship, and the Explorer group grabbing the Sprigatito and booking it. So now we know next episode, and what we're gonna get next is them trying to go track these fools down and figure out what the hell happened to Sprigatito. But I love everything about it so far. It has no right to be this good. It's so entertaining. And, if I think back to our most recent, when Journeys and Pokemon Journeys started, I think Pokemon Journeys was really, really good. And some of the best Pokemon probably since about season 9 of the original Pokemon. In my personal opinion, season 1 through season 9 is GOAT. And if you guys ever go and rewatch Pokemon, I really suggest watching season 1 through 9. Season 10 is where the English, and this is where you can notice it, is season 10 is when English transitions from old Ash, the old lady who plays Ash Ketchum, to the new girl, well, she's not new anymore, right? She did it for like 15 seasons or something crazy. But the newest person, or the most current person to play Ash, that's when the voice transitions and becomes a little bit more feminine. And that's where, and it's funny to say because they're both ladies that play Ash, but you can tell when that transition happens. And season 10 is when the show began to take a nosedive, in my personal opinion, because that's when Ash begun to not be aware of things anymore. That's when he would see a Squirtle and he'd be like, oh my god, it's a Squirtle, I've never seen one before, even though he has like 9 at Professor Oak's, and he'll take out his Pokedex, it's like Squirtle, blah blah blah. That's when, like, I think season 10 is when it really became a just purely kids show, and I mean like modern kids show. And season 10 is kind of where it fell off a little bit. But I think the Alola journey, I think was okay. It had moments of being okay. There was moments of good, but for the most part, even the Alola stuff was like, it was just fine. But then Journeys, I think, did bring it back. I think Journeys was a really good, well-curated program. Now, I fell off of Journeys. I only watched the first 35 episodes of Journeys. I watched the first 20 episodes dubbed, and then I watched the first 21 episodes subbed as they were coming out weekly, and then I fell off, and then I transitioned into watching dubbed with my kids, and I think I fell off around 35, and then from episode 35 to like now, I've only watched bits and pieces as like my kids randomly watched it on Netflix and stuff. So I kind of really fell off of Journeys, but I think this right here is a breath of fresh air, brand new character who's really compelling, really charming, a really nice new complement to new version of a pro tag who's not Ash. This episode starts off with her having the pendant and a new Pokemon be revealed to her, right? A mystery. What the hell did Grandma set me up for here? We got to meet a ton of different Pokemon like Fuecoco, right? And then we get to meet these new people like Freed and I think I wrote down their names: Freed and Molly and Murdoch. We get to meet Captain Pikachu, and now we get to go on this adventure. And I think that's what I love the most here, is that sense of adventure again. As like, I love having that sense of adventure, and I think they're nailing it so far. And I love what I'm seeing from this, and so far it's good. And Sprigatito and Liko, their partnership together is so cool. I love Meowscarada. I love the Sprigatito evolutionary line, so I can't wait till we get to that point too. And I can't wait till after we get past this little adventure part that she's in. I can't wait till she goes out and like catches her first wild Pokemon. Like, what's it gonna be? It could be anything, right? So I can't wait till that happens as well. But like, I'm loving this. I think they're nailing it. I think easy 9 out of 10. So far, I think they're nailing Pokemon, and this is a comeback. And also, the animation is absolutely incredible. They're nailing animation. There is a little bit of CG in like the airship, but the CG doesn't feel out of place. It's not so jarring, which I think is what CG really needs to nail, is it not feel out of place. So I think that's good. And then the ED, oh my god, the ED is so cute. The ED is so good, flashing everything that's happening. ED is just so good. And then I really like the end, which is the Freed seminar, which is basically the who's that Pokemon moment. But Freed comes in and acts like the professor type character, and I really like that as well too. And I think my kids are gonna love this once this gets dubbed and they're able to watch it, because they don't read fast enough yet. They're gonna love this as well too, and that's what I can see. I can see adults loving this, and I can see kids loving this as well. So, all right, those are my thoughts on episode number 2 of Pokemon Horizons. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.